Hey there, welcome to the House Music Connection podcast. I am your host, Tony Fuel, and each week we talk with different artists to share stories and industry insights. We talk about challenges and also successes. So ultimately, we can feel more connected as a house music community and learn from each other. In today's episode, we are talking with Joseph Kirk. He is a producer out of the United Kingdom. His artist name is Fizzikx. For the past several years, Fizzikx's name has been on Tracksource's annual list of best artists. And so I invited Joseph onto the podcast because he is very talented, but also he's a younger artist. I am really excited that he is keeping the vibe alive, and there's another generation of producers up and coming that are doing that, and keeping the vibe alive with proper house sounds. So with no further ado, let's get into the conversation. Hey there, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking with Joseph Kirk, otherwise known as Fizzikx, and I'll ask you about his name and his new moniker in a little bit. But yeah, wanted to welcome you to the show, Joseph, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Tony.
Absolutely, my pleasure. All right, so let's talk about your artist name, Fizzikx. Can you introduce yourself as an artist, as Fizzikx, and then your new moniker, and just maybe for people who are just getting to know you or have listened to your music for a while but want to know more about you as a person and as an artist?
Okay, so my name is obviously Joseph Kirk, aka Fizzikx. I hail from South Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I've basically started the Fizzikx moniker way back in 2015. How that came about was just, I couldn't tell you. Mm-hmm. It was just one of those days, really. I got bored, and I think it was just, wanted to come up with a name. I didn't want to go under my real name because it was just a bit too cheesy. So I think I just wanted to come up with something a bit different and unique, and I came up with the name Fizzikx and just spelt it how I wanted to spell it. So that's the whole story with that. So yeah, it's always been house music. So I kind of started off with more sort of like American, New Jersey, New York kind of house style, and then a bit of sort of UK garage, and then later on in the productions and all that stuff, I did more soulful house and Afro and a bit more jazzy kind of house. So yeah, that's kind of how I kind of represent myself as that moniker. I've got a couple of other more aliases that I'm working on as well for different styles of music. So
cool. So you're a little bit of compared to a lot of us who are in the scene, you're kind of younger, and so I'm curious as to how you got introduced. Like, how you discovered house music and like this proper house music style that is generally associated with those of us who are in our 40s,
Well, funnily enough, I never, growing up, I never grew up with vinyl. So I'm from that generation. So you've obviously heard a lot of big DJs and producers say, "Oh, I grew up with my parents' record collection or my brothers or sisters," or you hear that all the time. But for me, I never grew up with the vinyl and just picking up a vinyl and playing it. I just never really grew up with that. So I mean, I'll tell you how I got into house music in a bit, but musically, I mean, growing up, music was never on my mind at all. I was, my parents listened to bits in the car, and we used to always watch MTV, watch some random music videos, and yeah, and they had a couple of CDs and stuff, because CDs were the thing at the time. And I was born, sorry, I'm just giving away my age. I was born in '96, so around that time CDs were coming in, and it was mostly mainstream music I was listening to. It was not really, I was not introduced to the underground. I was just never introduced to anything, any dance music. I mean, well, I have heard a bit of dance music back in that day. It was like funky house. It was like it was like the Stardust, Music Sounds Better With You. It was just those sort of tracks. But no, I mean, I never really grew up with music till later in my life. So it was probably, I got into music when I was probably 13, 14. I started off with like heavy metal, and then I got into jazz, and then just, I don't know, I got into deep house when I was like 16, I think.
Okay. So how did you initially like discover that? Because I don't know, there can be kind of a lot of gatekeepers and whatnot in our scene, and we kind of protect it to some degree. So it's kind of hard. Sometimes you have to like, unless there's like a crossover track that makes it to the mainstream, you kind of have to stumble upon like house music, or especially this underground style. So how did you, I guess, come across it?
I think I just stumbled across it randomly off YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it was just, I can't remember which artist it was. I think it might have been something like, might have been Ron Trent or something like that. And Chez Damier. It was something like that. Those tracks they made, it was just like, wow, how did they made it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just mind blowing to listen to. It just started from there, really. And then around that time as well, I kind of got into production, and I had no idea what I was doing with the production thing. I was like starting from scratch. My mind was blank. So
yeah, that can actually kind of be a good thing, because sometimes when we have like a little bit of a musical background, we are biased towards what our background is. And so I think it can be helpful sometimes, or for a lot of people who, if you don't have that musical background, because then you can be, I don't know, like you said, the blank slate, and kind of, I don't know, I feel like maybe it opens your creativity a little bit more. So yeah, that's good.
Totally agree.
Did you ever have any experience in like primary or secondary school with music? Like, did you take it like band, or like learn an instrument?
Yeah, I actually did. When I was 14, I learned how to play the bass. And then I swiftly moved on to playing guitar, and then that's when I kind of got into heavy metal, playing all the heavy riffs and power chords, and trying to do all the solos and stuff. It was all the shredding. It was quite fun. But then it just, around that point, I was just like, I'm not into it. I got into jazz, and I started liking jazz guitar.
Yeah,
it just really got to me, like the George Benson style of play was just like, I want to do something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I was in jazz band in high school and junior high when I was growing up, and that was definitely a big influence on my history of getting into music and whatnot. So was I guess so when you first heard house music, you mentioned some of those other guys. Did you hear it, and was there something that kind of came over you, maybe like some kind of vibe that you felt that was like, this is what I want to do, this is for me, this is where I belong, or I'm home now?
I think it was like listening to the tracks. I think it was like the sort of the chords progressions, and just the vocals just sort of got to me in some ways. I was like, it just stuck with me.
Sure. So you started, you said you started producing pretty much around that time, like right away. What DAW did you start with?
Well, I started off with sort of garage band, or garage band, as you call it over there.
Sure.
And then just shortly after that, I got Logic and started learning Logic, and I've been using Logic ever since. I started now I started off with GarageBand, and then I managed to get Logic. So I started with Logic, and I've been using that ever since. And then I absolutely love it. And now I've recently got into Ableton, so I've got that. So I kind of swift from both Ableton and Logic. It just, I don't know how, but it's just whatever mood I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like you've done really well with that, or just with production in general. I mean, you've been able to put some tracks out there, and they all pretty much chart. And recently were named or listed on the Track Source's top 500 artists of 2023, and I think that you've had that for multiple years, right? So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've had that for quite a few years now. I think the highest I had with Track Source was, I think I got 40. I was number 45 on the Soulful House Top 100. That was 2021.
There you go. That's awesome.
That was my highest. So yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so congratulations on that again. That's a quite the achievement, and it's just a testament to probably your dedication, I would imagine, and like just throwing yourself into just learning all that you can, having an open mind, having that blank slate, and absorbing all that you can. So how did you, I guess, what are some of the ways that you learned how to produce? I mean, obviously, we learn best by just doing it, making mistakes, and then improving, and then making more mistakes, and then improving and fixing those mistakes and whatnot. So did you ever take any like Sonic Academy classes, or did you watch anything for, I know Jenny J. Lewis has a channel, and Danny J. Lewis has a music production channel.
Yeah. I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did a bit of, like, I learnt myself, so I was a bit old school. And then sometimes I went on YouTube and learned some videos, and Danny was quite helpful with that sort of 90s house sort of sound. So so I've got to give him some credit
for sure.
What he's done on in the industry and stuff in general. So and his YouTube channel's wicked. So if anyone, I highly recommend, if anyone watches this, I highly recommend you go and check out Danny J. Lewis if you want to get into music production.
For sure. So what are some of your favorite plugins that you use?
I use quite various third-party plugins. I mean, I use a lot of the Whirlwind Cloud stuff. I've got the Korg bundle. So it's all like your M1, your Triton, just stuff like that, really. What else have I got as well? Sort of a UVI workstation stuff as well. There's some really good plugins there. I'm just trying to think. I mean, I got Serum recently as well. For a bit more sort of, it's kind of a bit more tech house kind of stuff, but it's really, really cool for various bits, really. And also Arturia, and I've also got some Native Instrument stuff as well.
That's cool.
So sort of various,
quite the variety. Yeah, cool.
So kind of variety. I'm very open-minded, so I like to check out some new plugins and stuff, and worth the money, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of us, a lot of people, before we get into production, we kind of start off as DJs, and that's kind of our entry point into production. Has that ever been the case for you? Maybe it seems like it might be the reverse for you, or have you even DJed at all?
I never I have DJed probably later on. But before I was into production, no, I was never DJing.
Yeah.
I was just playing instruments and stuff. I'm kind of a musician by heart, really.
Yeah.
Because I play keys as well.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
So,
and I've noticed that in your tracks that you have like some really just lush keys and like pretty complex chords and progressions and whatnot. And so it's very cool to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's my own chord progressions.
Yeah. So let's see. You mentioned that you DJ'd. Where have you DJ'd, and do you enjoy DJing?
I enjoy DJing every now and then. Not for a while. I mean, the last time I played was probably I did a compilation DJ mix for King Street. It was for the Abstract Jazz Journey. That was the last time I actually touched the deck, so that was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I have done a couple of guest mixes and stuff for various people. My first gig was actually warming up for Victor Simonelli.
Very
from
nice.
New York. So that was in London.
That's very cool.
So yeah, brings back memories.
Yeah. I guess, so how did you just kind of like take that do-it-yourself approach to learning how to DJ as well, or did you have any mentors or anything like that?
I've learned myself, and I had some mentors as well. So I did learn from a few people. So got to give them some respect.
For sure.
It was, learn how to use record box and CDJs. It was all confusing to me because I just, like, before I got into using all that, I just hadn't been like a MIDI controller sort of DJ deck thing, and then used a Apple only. It was DJ Pro, what you can get off the App Store, and I was just using all that. So it just opened new doors for me when I had to learn the CDJs. It was quite fun, actually.
Cool. So I might back up a little bit, but so as far as like production and getting into the scene, how did you, I guess, first start approaching like labels, or how did you know which labels to approach?
Like when I first started, you mean?
Then when you first started producing, and then feeling comfortable enough to put something out there, or at least to have try to get signed to a label.
It just came out of nowhere, really. I mean, I made a couple of tracks, and then I just scouted around random labels, and I just went to one, sent some to SoundCloud, and then that label was Pogrouse Records.
Okay. Yeah. Martin's very supportive.
Yeah, Martin is. And that was back in 2016.
Okay.
And yeah, I sent him the demos and he liked them and signed them. So didn't look back, really, and then started working with him on a couple of other bits as well, and did a couple of more tracks for his label.
Sure.
So just felt a bit more comfortable, and then started reaching out to some others, really, and that's how it kind of started.
Very cool. Did you ever feel like a sense of, like, I don't know, did you ever experience any resistance just to kind of being new in the scene and getting out there?
Yeah, I think I was. I mean, I was quite nervous. Like the first release and all that. Is it going to be good and all that? So yeah, I was. Yeah, I would. You can say that.
Well, at least that didn't stop you, and you still put it out there and didn't let the nerves keep you from moving forward. So that's great.
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah. All right. So, what are some of the challenges that you've faced as an artist?
Oh God. Like being rejected by labels. I think that's probably one of the things. Saying tracks not good enough and stuff, and you just got to think, I want to work hard on it, or I want to work hard on making more tracks. So I kind of took that with me really. And now I'm not afraid to be rejected really.
Yeah.
But when I first started, I think I was like, oh God, I'm not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we have that imposter syndrome, and it's like, and I think a lot of us have experienced that at one point or another. So, but like I said, good on you for not letting that stop you and moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's all good.
So do you connect with anyone else that's around your age that's into house music? Is there kind of like I don't know, do you have like a posse of of the next generation that's coming up that's making some house music?
Not really, not that I can think of in my head. It's sort of like recently I don't really keep my ears to the ground as much with sort of house music, but I try to listen to much tracks as I possibly can. So there might be something that pop up, but no, nothing, not that I can think of anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So what's your process for, I guess, starting with an idea and then getting that to completion in a finalized track?
Well, how I start a track, I mean, I kind of start with the chord progression, really. That's the bit that I like to get out of the way first, because that's what really gets to me. So when I have that idea, and then I might go to the bass line, then find my drums, and then add some other elements on top of it maybe later. And just start arranging it, really. I mean, if I want to work with a vocalist, then yeah. If I would just want to get some random cheeky vocal samples in, yeah, I might. So it really depends, but yeah, I kind of get some ideas and then start arranging it, and then yeah, see what happens, and then add some more bits on top of it that I think might work. So yeah, that's how I kind of how my creative process is.
Got it. Cool. So some people, they only work on one track at a time, and then there's the other extreme where they have like, I don't know, 10 projects ongoing at once, and then it might take them several months to finish like a track because of how many things they have going on. Where are you on that spectrum?
I think I have more than 10 projects going on.
Yeah.
I think I've got like various Logic projects and Ableton projects, and I just go through them thinking I need to finish these, and I never do.
Sure.
It's just I don't know why, but it's just how I work.
Yeah. So what is the how do you get, so when you're looking at this list or this folder of like unfinished projects or whatever, I guess what motivates you to want to finish those, or what is the criteria that you use for deciding which ones you're going to complete and which ones you're going to kind of shelve or leave in the folder for a while?
I'll just write a list of the name of the project file saying, all right, I need to get this finished. Tick. Just write it down. So yeah, that's kind of how I work it out, really, and I managed to do them. So
yeah,
in the end,
very cool. All right. So what projects, what upcoming projects do you have that you're excited about?
Well, I'm trying to work on a new album. That's something that I like to try and get done and get excited about and stuff. So I'm trying to get the tracks for that. So it's kind of a bit sort of deep jazzy house. That's kind of what I'm aiming to go for. Maybe some old samples, like old jazz samples, because I've been sampling some like sort of jazz piano samples and then adding some of my own chords, and it's just an interesting combination. So I kind of do a bit of both. I mean, I do my own keys, and then I'll sometimes sample old records to make them unique. So I kind of just do a bit of both, really. But yeah, I'm kind of working on this album at the minute, so I want to try and do something different to my last albums that I did. Sort of my last 2 albums were a bit more like sort of live jazz instrumentation, sort of kind of Afro influenced. But this one I kind of just wanted to do a bit more deep house. So just see where it goes. Really, I'm just trying to compile the tracks and work on them and see how I feel about them. So that's what I'm really looking forward to the most.
Very cool.
The next album.
So with this album, do you have any like vocals on there that are like original songs?
I've not got any vocalists, but no, it's just some random little vocal samples. So I might use them or I might not. So
sure,
but we'll see. But no.
Have you? I'm trying to think back in your catalog. I should have been prepared before getting on the call. But have you done like any original vocal tracks where no one else had done the vocals before?
I have actually, yeah. I did do a couple of tracks with a vocalist called Philip Ramirez, who's quite a popular vocalist from the 90s. And that's pretty much it, I think.
Okay.
I've not worked with any other vocalists for like original stuff. Well, it's only been like remixes, but I've only done vocal remixes. But no, for original vocals, I've only worked with one vocalist.
So is there? I guess is there anything that kind of turns you off about doing vocals, or is it just like opportunity, or just not feeling like you don't have the right ideas? Say more about that.
I think it's because I just want to do my own thing. Really, I don't really like collabing with people as much. I think that's kind of where my heart is at. So it's no disrespect to anybody. I think it's just the way I work.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
So
it can be hard to get.
Sorry, go on.
It can be hard to kind of give up that control. So I've written some songs, and I usually write the song, and then I'll send it to the vocalist after I've written the song. And there's one track that I did that I just had kind of the musical ideas and like just a general theme or whatever, and I had to let go of that control, send it to the vocalist who who also writes, and then she wrote the track. And so I understand about how, because I like to do things all myself and all on my own, but then letting go of that control it's scary. It can be like scary.
For me as well is that I'm not good at writing lyrics. It's just sort of my pet peeve. It's just something that I'm never been born to be good at doing. It's just that's not that side of music, writing lyrics of a song, like words and stuff, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are in the same boat. Yeah. There's a lot of people a lot of producers don't write, I actually thought that before I started working with different vocalists, I thought that all the vocal tracks that you heard were written by the producer, but I was just naive and didn't know. But then I worked with a vocalist, and she's like, I've never actually sang a song that somebody else wrote before, so this will be interesting for me. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how that works. So I guess most producers don't write their music, and I was wrong about that. So yeah, or they write the music, but they don't write the lyrics and the melody for the vocals. Yeah. Yeah.
That's never been under my radar for the whole writing lyrics. So
yeah,
it's never been my thing. Sure.
So you obviously put a lot of time into production because it's just hearing your productions. It's pretty self-evident that you've learned a lot, and you put a lot of you've invested a lot of time and mental energy and learning into that. How have you, I guess, been able to spend that time? Do you have a day job that you are also trying to work around?
Yeah, I have a day job. I work full time, Monday to Friday, 8 while 4, not 9 while 5.
Yeah, sure.
So, but no, it's just it's hard to make the time. It really is. I try and make some time in the evenings, like after work, and sometimes on the weekends when I'm not out partying or watching football or soccer, as you call it in America, or just anything like that. I just try and make the time as much as I possibly can, and it's quite difficult.
So, are you pretty intentional about that? Like, do you have like a day that do you do like weekly planning and then like say, okay, these days I'm going to work on music in the evenings, and then these days are for fun?
No, my schedule is just I don't think straight. It's very, very, yeah. I just do it when I feel like it. So when I've got the energy to do it, I'll do it. So it's like I always have an idea for a track when I'm away from the studio and stuff. It just pops in my head, and I'm like, all right, I need to go on the computer and get the keys down for it. So it sometimes pops in my head, and it makes me motivated. But yeah.
So what does your family think of all this music stuff?
Yeah, they're very supportive.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, some of my family are into sort of dance music and house and stuff like that, and it's quite a popular thing in England, the dance music industry, and so it's quite cool that you got some family who are into it, and then they support you as well at the same time. So it really means a lot.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, let's see. So for listeners, is there anything that you would want to leave as far as like advice, or like what advice would you give to people who are just starting out, and or things that I guess, is there one thing that you'd want to leave listeners with as far as what your whole philosophy is, or I don't
know. Just be yourself and find your sound, really. Whatever style of music works for you, and also try different styles of music as well. Don't just stick to one thing, because that's just not a great way of presenting yourself. You've got to try different styles of music, and that's what I tend to do all the time. And I learned that kind of very early on in my life. So yeah, just definitely try different styles of music. And if you want to be a DJ, yeah, definitely go record shopping and do that every day or every week. Find some the best hot records that are out and stuff. It doesn't, regardless if it's vinyl or digital. If you want to, if you want to go on Tracksource and download a couple of MP3s, or if you want to go in your local record shop, just to see what's about, So that's sort of my advice. Biggest advice I would like to give.
Just try different styles of music. So to that, like, is that when we hear your album, are there going to be like different styles of deep house, or is there going to be like some hip hop influenced down tempo, maybe a little bit?
Yes, I am actually planning on putting some hip hop and sort of down tempo-ish stuff as well. So yeah, I like to do that because I'm really into hip hop as well. Like
Very
J
cool.
Dilla's a big influence.
Okay, cool.
For my hip hop sort of productions and stuff like that.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's see. I might have to edit this out. This is a little bit. I didn't really have any other questions to ask. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Froze up.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and like. I guess we'll just. I'll just outro a little bit.
It's been good. It's been good talking to you after all this time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just it's good to get to know different people and connect on a different level.
Yeah. I mean, I've discovered your music for a few years now. I can't remember. I think it was 2019 when I first discovered you. I know you've probably been around before that, anyway.
Yeah, when I originally started producing, I don't know, back in like 2005, maybe. I didn't do anything with it. I just had like a bunch of like tracks that I don't know, 8-bar loops, 16-bar loops or whatever. And I never finished anything. And then I kind of like got out of music for a while, finished college, started a family and all that stuff. But then I came back into music. And when I first started taking it seriously again was like, I think 2017, 2016. And then I had my first self-release at 2017. And then I think I had a record in 2018 on Nox's label, KHM. And that was my first Track Source really distributed release. So 2017, 2018, around there.
Oh, cool.
And then I started getting on Pogo House and yeah.
Because I think the first track I heard, I think was it Bumble to the Beat?
Yeah, on Smashing Tracks, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I think I heard your name.
Yeah, I want to do more tracks like that with that more jazz, kind of a little bit of that swing influence.
I think that's kind of what got me into it.
Yeah. That little walking bass line there. Yeah, I need to do more tracks like that.
Yeah, you definitely do.
I will. Joseph, this has been great. I've really appreciated the conversation, learning more about you and whatnot. And I'm excited for your projects that are upcoming, your upcoming album. I'll be sure to post some links in the show notes and the description to where people can find you. Is there any one particular place that you want people to go to more than any other as far as like online presence?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me, on Track Source. So it's just Fizzikx on Track Source, basically. And I've got a profile picture on there and bio. And all the tracks are on there, basically. And and you can also find me on Spotify as well. I've made a playlist of all my productions and previous remixes and stuff in the past. So yeah.
Very cool.
You can find me on Spotify as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I'll be sure to look out for that album when it comes out.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll finish it soon.
All right. Well, take care. I hope you've enjoyed this content. I have a free gift for you. If you feel overwhelmed by all of the tasks that we have to complete as artists today, my release roadmap can help. You can download it at tonyfuel.com/roadmap. It's absolutely free. The tool helps clear up mental energy for creative activities because it gives you one place to manage all of your tasks related to music production, demo submissions, releases, and social media. Gain clarity and make more music today by downloading the release roadmap at tonyfuel.com/roadmap.